Hello, everybody.
Good morning, Nancy Jean.
Yeah, welcome to the wonderful world of becoming. I've decided I'm going to quit saying everybody's changing. I think people are becoming
Becoming.
and quit worrying about I'm changing, I'm losing this, I'm losing that. You're not. You're becoming something else, and what doesn't need to be there will fall away. So we're now all
Becoming better people.
becoming. I don't know about that part. I wouldn't swear to that.
We can always hope.
Yeah, I did
So
it.
I looked up on, because every day has its special, like today has like seven different classifications of what this day is. And I just
Hmm.
happened to see it was Pay It Forward Day.
Oh, good. Yes, I wondered when you put that up. That's good.
So that's what I put on there for today. And be kindness and be
Mm-hmm.
kind to others today. And, say a prayer for those that need it. And
Mm-hmm.
you go to the store, tip well,
Mm-hmm.
whatever that is, but pay it forward day. Um, Candy Mullen, thank
Yes,
you. Nice to see you guys.
I've had her on my channel.
Nice. The White House Correspondents' Dinner was pretty cool.
Yes, it was. It was very good.
I watched that. Roasting the drops and uh, Colin Jost was pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
They had that Matt Friend. You see that Matt Friend do his impersonation.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, I liked it, but a few things he probably didn't need to say.
Hmm. Well, I was watching on MSNBC, and after he did his thing, then they were up there chit chattering again, and so they cut away to these correspondents, and one of them was saying how difficult what Matt Friend did was because he has no idea what Colin Jost is going to talk about, and he could have walked right over one of his lines.
Mm-hmm.
And he said it's one of those risks you take when you're comedians working together. And they kept saying they're not acknowledging the journalists that have been killed. They're not acknowledging the journalists that are in prison and stuff. And at the end of the night, they did, and I think they did it at the right time. Instead of it getting buried sort of at the beginning, they brought it up when it was appropriate. But
Oh, anything to complain about anything.
you think you apparently do read your comments, don't you, Scott?
uh,
I was,
I enjoyed that Laura Trump was there and she got roasted.
yeah,
Cha-ting.
yeah. Don't sing. Go back to politics. That's true. I don't know if you've heard that thing that she did, but
A clip. Gross.
I I heard it because it was on Stephanie Miller, and I couldn't get to my thing fast enough to fast forward it. So I got to listen. I was like, "What the hell is that?"
Oh, to have the imagination to believe you're actually a singer and do it.
We got people asking about the immunity case.
Yeah, it's,
The court's in a bind because if it says no, all presidents have immunity, then they better stand back and watch what Biden does to the Supreme Court if he has
oh, I
complete
know,
immunity.
right?
I
And
know.
then Joe can just fire him. It's like, I don't like you. I'm going to put my own in.
I think they're going to put term limits on the suckers, and I think they are going to reconfigure the court. The most sensible thing is to create 13 justices because there's
Yeah.
13 district courts. But
Yeah.
then,
Joe's doing it the right way. I mean, any request should be in a law than being a king and just establish it.
King Joe the First.
Yeah, King Joe the First. Yeah, it's unfortunate how radical they are. How many cases will get to completion before
Three.
after?
I hear three. I think Georgia's going to go on them if they block it. Georgia's going to go on them because their immunity thing doesn't apply to Georgia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the Orange Menace is an indicted co-conspirator in Michigan and Arizona too.
Yeah, it's supposed to, as bad as it is on him right now, the one astrologer I think who has a real finger on where Trump is, Andre Carr, he says June and July are this. He's going to wish he was back here with what's going to happen to him in June and July.
Yeah, I really believe the heat's going to be on. Every time we think we get a timing or a feeling of something, SCOTUS does something that's unbelievable. So that's
But see, they go away in June. They go on the world's longest vacation.
True, but they gotta, set an order. That would be devastating to wait till June or end of June or whenever to file on immunity. I don't sense that's going to happen, but that would be unreal.
I just had a flash that went through my brain. It needs to return because I can't remember what it was, but
who's Dr. Demon Sperm?
I don't know who Dr. Demon Sperm is.
Is that the state's doctor?
Oh, she lives in Florida, so she's probably talking about their high medical officer. But that's okay. What state is it they're trying to pass that you don't have to get your kids inoculated? They can't schools can't require it for admission.
Oh yeah, I read that.
Oh, I know what I was going to say. I read an article about Jack Smith calling in Mark Meadows and all the rest of them, and he's hitting him with a kind of subpoena they can't avoid, and he's starting to call them all in. So he may be going after January 6th in a different way.
There was filings released, and there's this lady I follow does Substacks and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Marcy Wheeler on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
There was filings released, and she pointed it out and found that it proves that Mark Meadows has been assisting Jack Smith.
Oh, very good.
And a long time ago. Not just lately. So
yeah,
we always got he flipped in one way or another, but the states are going to get him, and I don't believe he's, no matter what he did, he's not going to get away with what he did.
Yay, Arizona. They went after those guys.
Oh, yeah. What are the other 31 states Laura Trump was talking about?
Yeah, that's a person you want who doesn't know how many states are in your union.
A term was established by Constitution, I believe.
No, they can change it, Brian. They were threatening to do that. FDR threatened to do it, and he could do it. It's a congressional thing. I mean, it's a law. You have to go back and read how the whole Supreme Court was established and all those Federalist Papers and all that crap. But it's in there. It can be changed.
Yeah, it was.
It has to be an odd number of justices, but 13 justices, unless the numbering system is severely changed since I left school. 13 is an odd number.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we might as well get started.
Okay.
Unless there's something else that pops in our brains about what's been going on lately.
Oh, how about the horses going crazy in London right as Big Ben stops working the same day as the Moulin Rouge windmill falls off?
I hope everyone's safe that may have been affected by those tornadoes. You see those horrible?
Yeah, we were on the southern end, but they didn't come near us. We had rain all night.
God, seeing the videos of so much damage. There's like 80 that touched down.
Ugh.
The one town in Iowa was completely destroyed. The mayor said in like 79, and
Hmm.
it happened again.
Yeah, there's a town in Oklahoma that's been blown away. I mean, flattened to the ground 4 times. Who would build there?
Wow.
You would
Yeah.
think you would know.
Oh, and then another thing, um, the International Crime Commission is about to
Indict Bibi.
indict Netanyahu for war crimes
Mm-hmm.
and a couple others.
Mm-hmm.
Good news.
Yep.
So we got Putin's on the list. Bibi get on the list. Might as well throw Trump in the Hague too.
Why do you think Dick Cheney doesn't leave the U.S.? Neither does Bush.
Good
And
point.
George lives almost. I could walk to George's house if I had enough strength.
Yeah, Bill Barr, what a worthless. Yeah, Gitmo. Use the right weight and talking points. Gitmo. Okay.
Okay.
The New York trial moves forward without delays and the shows ending on guilty verdict. All right. The outcome of the New York trial.
We're going to start with my brand new shiny new deck. That looks like my old deck, but it works. The other one got sticky. And Scott, could you star DL Jersey Shores? I can explain that because I've run polls. I can
Got
explain.
it?
Yeah.
All right. New York trial.
I get yes. And I get these guys had no idea what they did when they held it up, what more Jack could have. If they let him go when he wanted to go, there's stuff he's found out since. It's going to move to a new place. I mean, it's going to move on to better shores. People are quit being undecided. And there's no more mock battles involved with this. And the best card is this is just a pain in the ass for everybody. Just get it over with, you know?
Yeah. The information mostly from the women is going to be very damaging. It'll corroborate everything. They have the Queen of Cups and the Page of Wands, Page of Coins. Starting out, the women bringing out the information, and then the next three are showing me like they should have settled. Instead of bringing it to court, should have came up to some agreement. Because I think they're worried. Trump's team is worried here. It feels like they needed to settle because there's a lot of burdens there. And Knight of Cups is like proposals and offers and travel. But in the end, yeah, a King of Swords comes flying in here.
Yep.
And the Hermit, King of Swords, Hermit, Page of Cups. So Page of Cups will be in a conviction type of thing because it's like an offer, giving it up. Hermit, it's a foolish card. Being naive to take it to court, but the King of Swords confirms yes.
Thank you, Carrie.
Oh, bless you, Carrie. Thank you.
The other thing, I was talking with a friend of mine she's my legal friend that used to write arguments that went to the Supreme Court in labor law, and she said she finds it ironic that Trump's Pecker started this whole problem, and then Pecker sort of finished it for him on the stand. He gets it.
Oops.
Thank you very much.
Hey, Feisty. Barr, you probably know more than me, but she's just taking a break.
she's taking a break. And actually, it's ironic. Feisty Butterfly would post this today. I'm beginning to put my 9 candles together, and I was going to send her an invitation to participate for just that one day if she wants to come out and talk. But we won't talk about why she's not talking. We'll just talk about 9 candles.
You wanted to talk about that?
Yes. In actual fact, in the state of Texas, when you go and you cast your ballot, you're the only one who can touch the piece of paper. They have to spread a whole bunch out in front of you and let you pick the one you want. And they can't touch it from that moment on unless you physically cannot put it in the machine yourself, or you have some other. I used to have a blind lady who voted where I ran the polls all the time. So I was always her poll person that went with her. But no one else can touch your ballot but you. And in Texas, it gets slid into a little machine that's the calculator machine, and then that box that it falls into isn't opened until it gets to the county where they count them. Most states are set up like that. This is one of the reasons why the Republicans want to change the ballots to being paper ballots that you have to mark and someone has to count. They don't get counted by a machine. Everything that gets counted by a machine can be counted again because they can open up the machine and see what's in there. This whole crap, this is just Republicans see, they have an idea of what they think happens in polling places. But since for the most part, they all vote by mail and they've never really been in a polling place and they've never really run one. I almost drove off the road when I heard her talking about this because I'm like, you can't do that here. And you got to realize she's saying the Republican Party is going to do this universally. Now, what they've done in the past is they've sent in poll watchers, which are people who are told to watch and make sure that it looks like everything went the way it should. And I had some, when Kerry was running for president, I had some that showed up at mine. They were very militant, and they were and I told him, I have the county sheriff on speed dial when I run the polls because that's who is our police force for our polls. It's the county. And they bothered me. I just called the cops on them. I almost called the cops on a husband who wouldn't let his wife go vote by herself. I said, sir, you have to get far enough away to not watch your ballot. And he didn't take me seriously. And I showed him the phone number I had on my phone. And I said, the next thing I do is I punch that number unless you get to the back of this auditorium and leave your wife alone. And when she was leaving, she turned around and mouthed thank you to me because, it depends on who's watching. I mean, I don't know how other states do it, but if it's primarily a Democratic polling place, the Democrat precinct chair has the first option to run that poll, and the Republicans their assistant. And I always, fortunately, whether they were running it or I was, we always had good groups together. But you can stop them. They're not going to touch your ballots.
Yeah. It's correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Don't voters put it in the voting machines. They're not
That's the
supposed
way
to.
we do it. I was surprised last time Wisconsin updated their system. Everything's done by computer now.
Mm-hmm.
Last time, you'd walk in, someone would check your ID.
And they had a little black leveled book that they looked through and found your name. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I go back to those days too.
Yeah, they had print-offs of everything. Everyone in that precinct or whatever, So they flipped through. This time they just had a little laptop, found my name. Go over there, get your ballot, and then you fill it out, and then you slide it in the machine yourself.
Yeah, and Hypnicity's right. You mail them in. I mean, there's a tons. This is Republican bullshit saying, please send us your money so we can do this. And actually, all that money is going to go is to save his orange butt from farting anymore in court. So,
yeah, it's all BS. But all this change, universal mail-in ballots, and all this is all in their ballot bill. But we need to wait till we get all 3 houses again, and it'll get done.
Well,
the John Lewis Act and another one. I can't remember.
but the automating all of the states, that was in one of the first bills that Biden had. That was part of in there. That's why your state all of a sudden had the money to do it. It's not cheap to do that.
Yeah, we need to get away from this BS so they can't stop lying. And
Right.
yeah, I had an argument a few weeks ago with one of my softball buddies. I mean, at least he wasn't crazy, but he's a little misinformed about the world. He must.
The best you can do is say, from my perspective, this is what I hear and this is what I see, and don't argue with him.
Oh, it wasn't bad.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the things he said, I'm like, what? Because he believed the Democrats were cheating on voting, but he was open to hear me, and that's what was nice.
Yeah, I think they're opening up. I think they're starting to hear enough crazy shit that
he had no clue what's going on in Florida. He thought that was the king because he was like, oh, I really wish that DeSantis would have been the nominee. I'm like, DeSantis? He's destroying Florida.
Mm-hmm.
People are leaving Florida. He thought it was great. He had no clue about the interest or the insurance rates and, 6-week abortion ban and going after trans people and gay people and fighting Disney. And I didn't know any of that was happening. Well, then he goes, well, what news do you watch? I listen to mostly MSNBC and CNN. And I do listen to independent sources.
Mm-hmm.
And then he thought I was completely, Democrat and stuff. I'm like, no, I used to vote for Democrats. I voted for Scott Walker.
Uh-oh.
And I told him I regret it after I found out what a piece of crap he was. Because he thought I was like, hardcore Dem. And no, I used to vote for the best person that I thought,
My mother was
all the
Republican.
mother stories about my dad.
Mm-hmm.
My dad was always Republican. After Trump, he will never vote Republican again. And I'm the same way. And he had a little bit of an eye opening, and I sent him a few things, and it opened his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Pegasus, how many cases get to completion?
Cases of what? Cases for who? Is this a false electors? I mean, altogether, there's like 300 out there. I can't even
pretty much
anymore.
I think we're down 45.
Okay.
So out of the 4, how many get started before the election?
Okay.
Didn't you say 3? Weren't you getting 3 on something else?
3.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
I've got Georgia in there.
Yeah, Georgia.
So I've got another federal one's going to come up.
I think Tiny Chuck can get started, and
Mm-hmm.
Georgia starts just before the election. The Florida one is probably hopeless.
No, and actually, that's going to be the fastest once it gets in court. That's why they're fighting it so hard.
Once it gets going, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, she's on a whisper, according to people I know who work with the law and that aren't on making bluster and trying to raise memberships on the YouTube channels, but people who really look at it.
Emperor, justice. We will have justice. I got Emperor, 9 of Cups, and Justice coming in on the current. So the energy is justice will happen.
Mm-hmm.
The Emperor, 9 of Cups, is that celebration and justice. So the Emperor will fall as it's supposed to. Let's see, completion. Then I get the Moon, Page of Swords, and Hierophant. That feels like sealed indictments. So I think there's an indictments gonna be coming out before the election. With that, others we don't know about, and how many. Six of Wands is victory. Ace of Pentacles is prosperity. Temperance, just wait. Testing the waters, a little wait. Five of Wands. So I get a Five of Wands. A 5.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's other cases started.
Yeah.
You know, like maybe Michigan gets started with trials or something, you know, something like that. But there's other ones going to be started. But yeah, I think we're going to be fine as far as many.
Did you see the comment? Some woman says, a conservative friend of mine says she knows someone. I know someone who knows someone who was arrested for praying at the Capitol on January 6th. Well, if she was inside the Capitol, she broke the law. So that's why she got arrested, because you can't enter that. That was supposed to be a sealed area. It was sealed for COVID before.
Yeah.
Oh, we had someone ask about Christy Nome.
Did you play your cards out, or would you feel you're just sticking with your 3?
I'm sticking with my 3. I sent on a meme this morning that was on Facebook, and it's this little, really cute, little sporty looking dog sitting on the passenger side, giving the worst side eye you've ever seen on a dog's face. And the only thing it said on it was how every Republican's dog looks at it now.
I seen that pic too. There was so many memes. There was probably no one posted on Twitter a reply. I live in a farm and we have to put down animals every day. We had to put down 3 old horses and da. There was probably more comments on that post than any other post ever.
Well, you know what's sad?
It was like 25,000 replies to her, something like that.
What strikes me as sad about that is we had a president who separated small children from their parents at the border, put them in cages, gave children to people who've never been able to be reunited with their family. But it's so much easier for us to focus on that one dog being shot. Now, you know, I saw one of the guys who's head of the Lincoln Project was on the TV last night, and he said, we had a dog that was just born stupid, and it was born to one of our tracking dogs, and we'd hoped it could help us hunt, but it never could. It just ran in circles. And he said, but it was the sweetest old dog, and it ended up living its life on the couch in our living room. But he said, that's what you do. You don't take him out and shoot him.
I just pulled 3 cards on Crispy Gnomes and political just to see what random 3.
Mm-hmm.
I just pulled 3 cards on Crispy Gnomes.
Okay.
Get something background there. Random 3. How'd that happen?
I turned my phone on and you were there.
Oh. 6 of Wands, 5 of Swords, and the Star. The Star is kind of weird coming out here.
No, it may achieve the goal the universe wants you to have.
Yeah. She thinks she's a star. But yeah, the 5 of Swords is going to be a battle for her to continue.
Apparently, she told that story to her kids.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and somebody said, what does it do when you know your mother would take an innocent puppy and shoot it and throw it in a gravel pit or wherever she put it? Yeah, I got that. She's planted a very bad crop. She thinks that she's winning, but her judgment is upside down. she's screwed it. So
These people. Okay. Immunity.
okay.
If Sleepy Don goes to McDonald's in the sky, will the court case continue?
If there's other defendants in it, yes.
It's only it's only Manhattan's the only one him. The document case still has Nada and Beal there and whatnot. Of course,
Yeah, and they can use those guys to prove it happened. And so, Republicans can rewrite all the history books, but of course, by then they won't want us to have history books. Oh, lady, want to know that the funny cards I just held up come from this. It's mystical medleys.
Immunity case.
Okay. And Scott's using his deck, which is a very smart deck, because it put cards together. You lay down 3 cards, you get 9.
Pretty much. Okay. What's going to happen with the SCOTUS immunity? We're all worried. But don't believe in any planet they're going to say he has total immunity.
Because then they're giving it to Biden. And they're sitting on the Supreme Court, and Biden can just come in and say, I don't think we should have these justices.
And it's crazy, too. Many years ago, Kavanaugh read a piece basically saying presidents aren't king. They don't have immunity.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's changing his
They sent that to him when his tax returns were brought up. They said it. The court said it. You're not immune. Okay. Can I go? We're ready?
Yeah, you go ahead. I'm still.
Okay. This is the maturity with which these questions were being looked at during that hearing, with the exception of some people. They're not going to rule for him to have immunity. They're going to come up with some half-assed thing that says we can look at all this later. This is just going to push. This is a card of retreat, and this is someone coming out of retreat. I think this is just going to motivate the Senate as soon as we get enough to go in and really start messing with the court. And they will come up with an answer that makes the trial go forward in New York by the end of it. Because this card, this way up, it means I have a question, I don't have the answer. This way up, it means I figured out what the problem is. So I see they're gonna try and hold it to the last possible minute to try and slow New York down.
DC.
DC, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Shotgun down.
The first 3 in the pass is telling me. So I have the 10 of Cups, 10 of Swords, and Ace of Wands. And that tells me that these conservatives wanted to destroy democratic norms. That's what it tells me there. And then I have the Ace of Swords. 3 of Coins can be in order, and then the Devil. Ace of Swords it's telling me it's an awakening. The 3 of Coins can be in order or developing some skills, whatever. And then the Devil. So we got a corrupt idea coming out. So whatever ends up is going to be somewhat corrupt. The outcome on the immunity case. 5 of Wands. Obstruction. Page of Cups. Making an offer. But in a way, it feels King of Wands, so it feels like Roberts. So Roberts is going to basically save this from being totally corrupt, but there's going to be some kind of offer involved. So it's not telling me delays. I'm going to pull 3 from another deck to see the sense of how long. So it's not complete. You know, they're not going to say that, but there's something they're going to do. That doesn't tell me delays right now of how long. Delay, how long, how long. How long is SCOTUS? It feels like they're 3 weeks. I don't think it's going to be that long.
No.
I get the Hermit March. 3, so 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be delayed, but it's going to be a carve out of something that we're not going to be totally happy with. It doesn't feel like they're going to send it down to Chuckin to redo things and more appeals, which is silly. This whole thing is something that you just do in trial anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they can make their orders and pre-orders about what's immune and what's not prior.
But if they're having a real trial, he has to sit there and then he falls asleep some more. So.
And gases up the room.
Yes.
That doesn't really resonate with me of hoping 45 gets back in power. It's just the corrupt society of keeping their power. You know,
they're protecting Leonard Leo and the guys that put them in power. They don't, by delaying all this, because as soon as, do you think if Trump's really going down, his people are going to squeal about everything that they did, that they were part of?
Oh yeah, came out that Sarah Huckabee knew. Her and Hope Hicks were in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, the party of family values.
Yeah, keep your mouth shut about the family. I mean, that's one family value. What do we want to know? It's going to make more problems for her?
No, there's nothing legal with Sarah, I don't sense.
Oh yeah, it does. It's going to cause her election. It's going to cause her ability to be governor again.
Well, I mean,
she loses 2 aces.
You know, like bringing any charges or anything like that. That's what I was meaning.
Oh. No, she still has to. She's still in trial over her podium.
Oh, yeah. Enough's going to come out. Yeah, there's the death of her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got the death of her. 3 cards came out. Being linked together, the death card, and then Queen of Swords. The death of her. It's not going to be good.
No.
She's got podium trial. And whatever else. There was something else, too. Oh, so went to the Super Bowl for free, too.
Yeah.
Corrupt off the government. Using the people's money. But, of course, if that was in Texas, it would just went away.
No, they're getting him again. He's going back into court.
Who
He
dat?
settled on the first part, but I don't. Trust me, I've given up even trying to follow that thing. It's been going on for so long.
Any witnesses in the Manhattan case, hurt, injured? Okay. Witnesses, jurors,
Mm-hmm.
are they all safe in the Manhattan.
Mhm.
Lord knows you got a mob boss there.
Mhm.
Witness.
Okay. Witnesses. Physically. I get no. I get that there's the Hierophant, the legal things that are around them. People are going to respect that. And he's tried to get people to go do stuff, but they're not doing it. And I think it's a real God thing. It's a real spiritual protection about them. They're not going to be able to cause any harm. And he doesn't have the support of the people he thinks he has the support of. As in, how many people are outside the barricades that you can just apparently walk up to? You know, and he keeps thinking, my people can't get through. But a woman got through with a stroller. Saw her on the news. I mean, they weren't talking to her, but they were watching her walk by. You know, I don't think his words have any effect.
Yeah, it's not having it in New York.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of sense that we might lose one or two. You know, like using the alternates.
Yeah, I don't think it's because they're. I think it's because mind games get played, but I don't think it's physical.
No, I'm not saying physical. I do have protection cards,
Mm-hmm.
like the Queen of Cups, Page of Cups, Nine of Cups
Mm-hmm.
coming out first. You know, the family, the protection, the offers. Um, it feels like everyone's being safe about everything
Mm-hmm.
because I got the Strength card and self love, and the Ten of Coins, and then the Eight of Swords. So it's like there's strength there, but they're being, safe about everything.
Right.
You know, being restricted, being, isolated a little bit more. The reason why I think maybe there might be someone that one or two that might drop off the case is the Five of Swords. That complex is going to be, weighing on them.
Mm-hmm.
So they might, the Chariot here, they might want to leave the situation because they don't feel protected with the Ace of Cups. But generally, no, I don't. I think they're all going to be fine. They might lose a few. I think everyone's being smart and safe about who they talk to, where they go, staying at home, that kind of thing. It could possibly, I don't really sense it, but the Ace of Swords could mean they get sequestered, the jurors, but I don't think so.
The only thing I see is one of them leaving because of their own illness.
Could be. That's right, Karen. 45 is a sad little man.
Mm-hmm.
It's killing him inside because it's the first time he ever had any repercussions.
Not only that, but it's brought to light like the smell and the other things that people would make jokes about, but now people are sitting in the courtroom next to it.
Yeah, they said there's brief things where the lawyers are kind of like,
Mm-hmm.
they put their hand up their mouth and they knew something
Mm-hmm.
was going on, and then they put it all together because they could hear farting,
Mm.
and then it just blew up. 45 is dropping his drawers. I believe they do. Health officials. It and this I'm trying to understand where pancakes here is going.
Um,
You know, it really doesn't help when right-wing media and the Republicans and such gaslight everyone and just continue the stress.
no. And it doesn't help. I mean, I think if you mention it once a half hour that democracy's on trial, that's plenty. But to have people do 40, 30 and 40-minute things on that is not helpful. What do you do? How do you arm yourself so you know you're going and voting for the right candidate? You don't see that stuff. You just see, don't vote for this, and this is going to kill us. So,
You know, like at the correspondence dinner,
mm-hmm,
Alan Jost talked about his grandpa,
mm-hmm,
you know, voted for Joe because he knew he was a good man,
mm-hmm,
right? Those are the things people need to hear.
right.
And that releases stress when you know that you're in a better place. Uh, the crazy guy running the health department in Florida. I forgot his name, but he's sounds like he's willing to kill people.
Well, he lied about his credentials in the first place during COVID. He said he was part of this team that had been evaluating stuff. And the guy who ran the team in California came out and said he never worked with any of us.
Oh,
We
good
don't know where
Lord.
the hell he came, you know. And the press kept reporting he was part of that. We kept holding on to his resume, saying that's what he did. That's when he got his first notoriety.
Dr. Demon's Perf. Oh, these people. Oh my God. How does Florida not care about its people?
Yeah, he's gonna face some kind of reprimand. I see him coming up against the officials. It's going to be death to him. It's going to lead to him having some ill health. He's not able to continue on his journey, and it's going to be some younger person. There's going to be some. I have a feeling it's a revelation from like a journalist or a major TV show. They're going to tear that guy apart, and people are going to see what's really happening in Florida.
Yeah, at some point, he's going to have a tower.
Mm-hmm.
Eight of Swords is restricted. It's imprisoned, something, you know, or losing license.
Mm-hmm.
Ace of Wands is that action and power, but it could also mean a quick result to him at some point. You know, as long as he's in power with the Satan there, most likely nothing's going to happen. But yeah, eventually he's going to have
Mm-hmm.
his turn in the tower. Um, I I think he's doing it. I don't know. Being evil somehow create more money for the state. What he's doing,
No.
what makes sense there, but it's like creation of money from loss and heartache and offers. It's like he's doing this to be evil, but somehow gets money for it, or the
Yeah.
government state gets more money for it, or something.
He may get more money for it.
Yeah, there's some kind of money game by being evil like that. Um, Something's going to be shown though. What he's doing. So the Five of Wands, Six of Swords, and Hermit. So we got the lack of energy, the conflicts going on, but something changes for the better, and he's like possibly removed.
Well, that would be a change for the better.
Right. there's a change for the better from what's going on. And that's leading up to my final cards of the tower. So,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't feel like our federal government can come in and remove them or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But, states' rights, right? They can destroy people's lives without care. It's unbelievable, these people. Remember to hit the likes. Hit the like.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And join if you belong to Scott's channel and don't belong to mine, go over and join mine.
Yeah. Join Nancy.
And if you're on my channel and you haven't been following with Scott, go get on Scott's. It all helps.
Let's look at this corrupt man.
Oh, geez.
He needs the. I mean,
if Crisco had a body, it would be Bill Barr. Just.
Caitlin Collins did a pretty good job of pushing back against his nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
I only seen a couple clips, but
yeah,
just unbelievable how he can just say how bad 45 was, and then all of a sudden, yeah, but I'm gonna vote for him. Unbelievable. Okay. What's up with our criminal ex-attorney general that did everything to obstruct and help 45? Now turning tides.
Well, I got in the past, he was sitting pretty and he should have just stayed where he was, but he decided to go out and be evil with justice, and he did it for the money.
Oh, he's got money tied around.
And he's got a sudden change of thing that's going to happen to him, and it's going to be a downfall. But it's not a king or a queen. It's the pages that show up in his thing, and I think these two say that I don't predict death or even ill health, but he's not doing good.
So yeah. The energy is the Knight of Coins along with the Devil. More money. It kind of feels like he's willing to be Attorney General again.
Haven't we learned twice he's let the crooks off? When do we learn to stop him from being there?
It would be amazing how he'd even get voted in, because he could only probably be acting. There's no way unless of course the GOP happens to be in charge, but don't see it. Bill Barr. 8 of Coins shows health. In the past, I have Temperance, 8 of Coins, 8 of Cups.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was actually pretty sick in the past. Something may reoccur.
Mm-hmm.
This is in the past position. So I think he had to take time off, get some surgery, some kind of health or whatever. Then it shows everything about prosperity and wanting more money or something here. Queen of Coins, Knight of Coins, 10 of Coins. It's all about the money in the current.
Mm-hmm.
Moving forward, Ace of Wands, 10 of Cups, 10 of Wands. So he's changing his tune for the family, the GOP family.
Mm-hmm.
10 of Wands. What's those burdens on their shoulders? I think he's just changing his tune for the GOP. For some reason he thinks by saying this may help the election for 45 in the GOP. It feels like he's been gotten to of since. from, Leo or whoever, that kind of groups, the dark money.
Mm-hmm.
The Hermit, he's being careful though. Eight of Wands, the Fool. Yeah, it just feels like he's doing it for the grand old party. Possibilities. The Fool is kind of like, taking a leap and open to new possibilities. So I think he would definitely try to be Attorney General again. Is his current thought. But in this toss, I got the health issues in the past. So maybe he took care of us something, or in the continuing rehab or something. Epstein-Barr syndrome. But it's all about the money and the grand old party and what he believes in.
Well, their bank sort of just got closed by the vote in the House to give Ukraine money.
Yeah, blessing there.
Mm-hmm.
Getting what they needed. Yeah, they're all working in there. I haven't heard anything about his family anymore. The daughter used to.
She
used to be a
wasn't
great.
part of the purge. She wasn't part of when Laura came in and got rid of all the staff.
But I remember her daughter was a prosecutor in D.C. forever, mostly drugs and whatnot, and then they installed her in. Barr had her go to under Mnuchin, a lawyer under Mnuchin, in Treasury, and his son-in-law moved over to the White House. So I haven't heard what his family's been doing. Most likely private practice or whatnot.
Yeah.
Okay. Mark Davis. I kind of heard that name. Oops. Oh, yeah. I didn't see that.
Oh, I'm sorry, spirits.
Oh, that's amazing. Only one person.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Davis. I heard that name. He's a radical, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, he's one of the ones that wrote the 2025 manifesto thing that they've got out there about what Trump will do. And yeah, he's one of those. And yeah, he's been behind the scenes, but he's a good buddy with Stephen Miller.
Who would want to claim to be friends with that man?
Mark Davis. Yeah, I just saw his name come up this weekend.
What? He's coming to my Waukesha? Oof.
Get your gas mask now.
I'm in that town pretty much every day for work.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
And now you have to drive your truck through a traffic jam he's going to cause.
Well, last time he was coming to my area in Wisconsin, he canceled. They were having some big event in Milwaukee a couple years back, but it was canceled. There were big billboards on my drive into Milwaukee.
Mm-hmm.
Trump. That might have been up August up to the 2020.
Mm-hmm.
That was a long time ago, but he was in Green Bay a while back. But Waukesha is generally Republican leaning, so that's probably why he's going there. Okay. So does what?
To Satan's wife.
Right. So does Satan's over when?
2025. Are they an off year? Are their governor's races off years like Virginia and Texas?
Florida governor. When did they serve? Previous office? No. Four years, 20. I think it's 2026.
Well, then
Because
we
he
can
was
say,
2020, he won in 2022. It's 4 years.
okay, so we can tell you she's not running in the 2025 race because there isn't one.
So 2026.
So you want to see if she's
So
going to run
that-
in the next one.
All right. They're gonna try to keep Florida in the Satan rule.
Hmm. I don't think so.
No, I think there's going to be too much coming out on them after he's done,
Hmm.
or even before. Florida's not going to accept the Satan family. I don't see it.
They're not terribly fond of her already. And has she ever shown where she gave that millions of dollars she raised, where it went to that was supposed to go to hurricane victims?
I haven't seen anything there.
No, she's not going to do it. She's too comfortable where she is, and she's not going to do it. And what it shows us doesn't have the spirit. They kind of know she's a bitch.
They are.
It's the illusion and delusion of her pretty face is all over, and she can't control her lesser self, so it shows up. She can put all the makeup she wants and do her hair and stand there looking like the good wife, but no.
Yeah, the current failure of not even coming close from the president.
No.
I don't see it. I got the 8 of Cups, 6 of Swords, Knight of Cups. It's walking away and feeling better. You know, if it was close or something like that, but they just showed their true colors, and I don't see it moving forward, especially with the failure trying to run for president. On to another adventure.
Hmm.
She might try to do some kind of speaking or something.
Maybe she'll get a YouTube channel and be a motivational coach.
Right?
Why not? Half the rest of the world has.
I don't know. Maybe she's gonna take over. What's that group that got busted? Moms and Taliban's, whatever you call it.
The Taliban and minivans.
Yeah, she'll take over that group.
And the assholes with casseroles. Yeah, those groups.
It feels like something like that. She'll take over that kind of group and speak, run around getting paid to speak for her crazy thoughts.
You know, a lot of them that were elected to, a lot of them, well, most of them didn't get elected, but the ones that did get elected to school boards, they're not showing up. They only did it for the one time. And so a lot of these school districts are just moving ahead without them.
It's crazy. These people throwing the outrage, and then they say it don't work, and they just kind of go bye-bye.
Well, you know, it's like the Republicans. They go to Congress and they don't do anything. And then they say, see, government doesn't work. So we need a strong leader because government doesn't work. Well, government doesn't work if the people who work there don't work.
It's like the Republican outrage. We don't hear much about woke. We don't hear anything about CRT. It's kind of like the book banning kind of went away.
No, CRT became DEI.
Became DEI, right? They just find another outrage, another 3-letter word, and
it's amazing they can't understand more than 3 letters, but it's okay.
We talked about cloud seeding before. It doesn't work.
No.
there was that discussion about that a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they're trying to make rain, and it's like you're better off doing a rain dance than trying to cloud seed.
And they live right next to a big fat ocean. Desalinate. I mean, the water's there. Just get the salt out of it. That would seem to me to be easier to control than what's up in the sky. But silly me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, right on bar. Right on to Satan's. Only one more question is starred that I can see.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Just how does the Supreme Court feel about how they
No,
put them?
all they care about, Alito and Thomas, are males that like the whole Catholic point of view. Guys run everything. They wear dresses and then they run everything, just like Supreme Court justices. They wear gowns and then they tell women what they ought to do. So, no, I can tell you in my heart of hearts, looking at their faces and listening to them talk, and especially when anyone would bring up a rational question, a rational point of view, and they kind of like, you really wanted to climb through whatever you were listening to it on and grab their little hand before they could pat the women justices on the head. Now, dear, you'll understand later.
Okay, let's see what the cards have to say. Starts out blind justice.
Mm-hmm.
So I just said the Supreme Court. I didn't separate it in my mind. Four of Wands is kind of like the Supreme Court being in there. Page of Cups and the Two of Swords. So they're in for their own self-interests, and the Two of Swords is making those blind decisions,
Right.
not helping the other people there. So then I got making money for their connections,
Mm-hmm.
in it for themselves, and who they can profit from with the lovers. Nine of Pentacles, Six of Swords, lovers. In it for making money for their partners. Temperance, Ace of Swords, and Queen of Wands. I think we have, it's like anointing new leadership, like with the Ketanji Brown Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
We got new leadership in there. Here's your anointing new.
Mm-hmm.
So this is just saying we do have good people in there that do care. Temperance with the cup overflowing,
Mm-hmm.
others. And then Queen of Wands. The
Mm-hmm.
women. The women, I mean, like we've stated that Amy Coney Barrett is showing that she could be a decent justice here lately. Ten of Pentacles, that feels like legacy. Doesn't feel like grifting.
Mm-hmm.
This is the end. The Hermit, they don't really, most of them don't really care
Mm-hmm.
with the Hermit. Seven of Wands is pushback. Feels like pushback. And then the Devil, self-interest. So, generally, they don't care. They're self-serving, but there is good leadership in there, especially with Ketanji. It feels like to me that Ketanji is rubbing off on Barrett a little bit.
Yeah.
But right now it feels like Thomas and Alito run that court.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like Robert's a puppet to them. He's no leader. He's not being a leader. But the women on our court are having a decent effect. I think Barrett really cares about what people think about her. Because I don't think she wants to be a puppet for the weak, big overlords of money. But unfortunately, we need to get rid of the devil.
Well, I just asked if something is coming for Thomas. And I think some of his big money people are pulling away from him, or they don't want to be near him. Not the one that lives here in Dallas and has Hitler memorabilia, but the rest of them.
Harlan.
Harlan. Yeah. He's waiting for the next shoe to drop. He's trying to build a defensive fence around himself. But when it comes, and I think it's going to come before September, it's going to come big time. It's coming. This card, materialism in my deck, in a traditional deck, is the devil. It's coming for him. So we had another question you kind of missed, and I can see why.
Amy Barrett knows that they're fixing to be looked at, going to look like she cares. I'm not sure about that.
I'm not sure about that either.
I've listened to some conservatives that do podcasts and whatnot, and people that have looked in her background. She's actually pretty smart. She's not a pushover, and I think she's rolling with the tide a little bit. And because I don't think she wants to get wrapped up in any of this corrupt mess and actually be a. I know we've seen it. They've been in a cult. They have their release, but as far as a judicial person, I think she's changing in a sense.
Yeah, she's been in a cult in the Catholic Church, which is like being a cult in a cult. No offense to my Catholic friends.
I know it. But like I said, I get this sense that Ketanji's rubbed off on her a little bit. You know, behind the scenes, there might have been some heart-to-hearts, that kind of feeling. But she's actually pretty smart.
We have to have the grace to let people change if we want to be able to live in a world that's open and becoming.
You said there was another question.
Yes, Colleen. From what I'm reading, if the Latinx kids don't vote for the Dems, it could be a win for the Republicans. I don't know what Colleen's reading. I don't know where she's reading it. I want to know why she thinks they wouldn't vote. I mean, young people are waking up. If you haven't seen scenes from the streets recently, I have my own feelings about the demonstrations and who's running them. But I think that my feeling is, from what I've sensed in Texas, is those kids have been raised with the idea that the Republicans are against them. They saw them not lift a finger in this state when they shot up a school full of kids. I think that the Latin community, they used to be the hardest to get to vote, but I think the ones that were born here are not so difficult to get to vote. So. Yes, near-death experiences are interesting.
Yeah, I've watched so many. I don't really watch them anymore, but Jeff Mara podcast has some interesting people. But yeah, you just Google into YouTube anything about
Next Level Soul's good.
Next Level Soul's pretty good. He has channelers on and talks about all that.
He's got a bunch of different sorts of folks on too.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I haven't really watched them much, and I watched them a lot.
Just
to try to get the sense and feelings. And it's amazing, and it brings in the knowing that we are eternal.
Mm-hmm.
That it isn't BS that, some kind of heavenly spirit and source and energy, that we are part of this universe. And they are very fascinating. And it's also kind of neat how everyone has a different type of experience in what they see and believe. Yeah. Monica got hooked during COVID. I think maybe that's when I started watching them more too,
Mm-hmm.
or found those.
Well, there's a lot of death going on around us, so there's be a lot of questions about it. Why not?
Good
You
point.
know?
Driven to that way.
And I have enough trouble with this life, thank you. I've never had the opportunity to have an NDE, nor am I going out looking for it. You got to realize the young Latino vote in Texas. We're 2 years ahead of the whites becoming the minority in this state because of the Latino. Uh,
A lot of states.
yeah, I know, but in our state, we've been watching it because it helps us predict what's going to happen in races. And trust me, those kids are tied into who lets them do things and who doesn't. And that's why they fight so hard the Republicans fight so hard to keep everybody out of the polls. But last time I went to the polls, there were some young Latinos working at the polls, which is really good.
Nice. That's another thing, Fred.
Yep.
Appeal, appeal denied.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm supposed I can appeal again, right?
No,
Or is it over?
that's it. You get one.
Good. Eugene gets her 90 mil, 88, or whatever it is. Hopefully plus interest.
Let's see.
It's been sitting in a bank for a while.
That's right. That's money that he did have. He took it out of a
We noticed
Schwab account. Hmm?
notice 45 wasn't crying about that.
No.
He lost, so he doesn't want to bring up his losses.
Nope.
That was comforting, Ian. Someone asked me, what was death? Where is death? Same place we were before. It just leads to more questions.
Yeah. He's a very practical Scotsman. What can I say?
The party in the sky.
No, it's not even in the sky. It's right near us. That's what's so hard for people to understand. I think a lot of people sort of hope when some people die, they go away and then they don't have to deal with them anymore. And they really hope it's someplace way far away.
Young people are angry at Biden for selling arms to Israel. So, to me, don't you think there's strings attached to those arms? I think they're only getting defensive arms.
That's right.
For the Iron Dome, because people are misinformed. It's frustrating. We're not condoning killing innocent people.
I was on the campuses in the late 60s, early 70s. I was on for all the massive anti-war discussions and even poor little SMU, which has got to be the weaseliest university in the world. They had a thing where students took over the president's office. And this is how bad the school was that I went to. The cafeteria started making box lunches so we could eat them on the lawn while we were watching it. I mean, that's how disruptive it was. Oh, we're having a picnic. They don't know. And I remember the guys that were leading it. And I knew something. None of them stayed in school. They all left as soon as they weren't going to get drafted. And, It's just I don't really understand. I would see if there was an obsession for both sides. But, Hamas started this. I mean, they're the ones that jumped the fence and took the people in the first place. And I don't blame Israel for being pissed. I don't blame people in the Gaza for being upset about the conditions they live under. And they live under people that are supported by Putin and all of the other, a lot of the other Arab countries, not all of them. Anyway, I feel very confused, and I think when they grow up and I'm not saying they're stupid kids and they don't have any ideas. I'm just saying I don't think they're listening to the whole story. And why should they be any different than their elders who don't listen to the whole story either? So
Lots of time. It'll get figured out.
yep. And let them go say what they want to say. They're going to have about as much effect as we did ultimately. It was when people came back from the war and talked about it that we listened. Guys,
We can cheer baby getting indicted.
mm-hmm.
Baby's going away. This is a huge failure for him.
That's right. And he's been protected by the Republican Party since day one. Trust me, nobody wants to do business with Bibi Netanyahu.
So true, Colleen. People make fun of people on Twitter that, like, they'll always say, like, Uber Spirit and 8 numbers is an expert now in Middle East war. All these trolls.
It's like banning TikTok. It's like, I think it's amazing that Elon Musk got all that money from the United Arab, and from Saudis. And, the Saudis' biggest fear is their young population getting information. And they were finding their young population was getting a lot of information off of Twitter. And I know this because I have a family member who's close to someone, and they've been friends since they were teenagers online. They finally met like 6 years ago. And his friend who used to live in Saudi said that he now lives in Canada. He would love to be able to immigrate to the U.S., but he said the Saudis view all kinds of social networking as the biggest threat to them because that's how the young people speak to each other, and they never developed the technology to monitor it, stop it, not have it work. So this whole thing about stopping social networking among young people is true. I have no doubt that disinformation is being spread on those networks. But I live in a city where we've had the Dallas Morning News for years, and that was virtually at one point, if it was in the morning news, you knew it wasn't true, kind of thing. So, and I watch TikTok occasionally, and I don't think I'd read cards if I thought people listen to it that shallowly.
It's the biggest thing, and people make money off of it.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's gonna be banned. Heck, I read China doesn't even allow TikTok in their country.
I know.
But yeah, I was reading an article of a guy that actually has experience in this and cybersecurity and everything. And it is true that they have the capability to get all your information through TikTok.
So does Facebook.
Well, at least we know where the oligarchs are.
No, I don't. Do you trust Zuckerberg? Have you ever looked at that guy?
No.
No.
But I don't believe it's going to go away. But it has to reorganize. I think India banned it too.
Mm-hmm.
And they moved to Instagram and YouTube.
Yeah, because the guy who's the
it's
head of India is another one. He's another oligarch that doesn't want. Was it named Modi? Yeah.
Modi's not a good.
Yeah, he's a good friend of the governor of South Carolina that ran against Trump. Her family's Indian and they're good friends with him. So they just all keep bumping into each other at the country club.
Mm-hmm. It'll get all worked out because I mean TikTok's being banned in other countries too, so
Mm-hmm.
they need to figure out something. It'll work out. So
Well, people grieved, if you've ever read history, when the printing press came and all of a sudden they could print, things to put out, newspapers to put out, books to put out. That was going to be the death of civilization because any person could get it. And if they could learn to read, then they'd go.
yeah, that is crazy, Colleen.
Yeah, and that really pisses me off because I like to go out and sort of look around at things, but you kind of get paranoid.
Yeah. Twitter's got a new algorithm too. Ads will pop up of comments on the post. So like you're getting all these ads about adopting puppies and stuff and whatnot. Anything about animals, ads are popping up in like Christy Noem's posts. I mean,
That's sad.
It takes whatever the comments are in the post, it generates an ad about that topic. So it's evolving like crazy with AI or whatever.
Well,
So
and runoffs are starting out now. Runoffs, and I know runoff in Texas starts this next week. So if there's a runoff election, and if you live in Dallas County in particular, may I make a statement? They've put this huge $1 billion bond package on an election that's going to have the fewest voters ever. And it's billions of dollars. So if you don't know what it is, go look it up. And if you don't want to go look it up, just go vote no on everything. Because they threw this together at the same time they were getting rid of a corrupt city manager who went to Austin. And now there's a big article about how he already had the job lined up in Austin. And then he pushed the city council to fire him. So we have to pay him nearly $500,000 for him being fired. I mean,
it's crazy since Citizen United got dumped. Someone was posting about this guy that runs campaigns and the Democratic strategist. He posted about, I can't remember what year it was, but long ago, like a Senate campaign would cost $45,000. And now it's $100 million for a Senate campaign.
I've got better in Dallas. The first one I ran, the first city council race I ran in 2005, we spent $75,000, I think, and that was just, I mean, that was like so much more money than we thought we'd ever have to raise. The next election cycle, when Roger Staubach's daughter ran, between her and the guy she ran against, they spent $10 million for a city council race.
Jesus.
I know. Crazy. And you kind of go, well, what's going on? And ever since then, people in Dallas started to look for, was a person a neighborhood activist? Because those two were just gazillionaires going into shill for the developers. And Roger Staubach's daughter, her claim to fame was that all the neighborhoods spent all of their dues and funds fighting her because she kept wanting to put high rises on top of them.
Being on, I don't know what school boards pay a ton of money because
they never do.
When I was on a school board, I got paid $1,200 a year.
Yeah, enough money to get your butt in the chair and pay for your
pretty
gas.
much pay for my gas to get the meetings.
Well,
it's gotta be about control.
We had a woman who quietly worked for one of the publishers of school books, textbooks, that sat there for, and nobody knew that was her other side income. Don't ask me how they didn't know that. Needless to say, you can imagine what books we ended up with in the district.
Obama's second run was 1 billion.
Yep.
It is unbelievable. All that money going into races could do so much good. Free child care or health care for everyone instead of all this wasted money on putting someone's butt in a seat. Crazy.
And it's getting harder and harder to block them on Messenger.
Oh, that was something that was funny that Colin Jost said about stop sending the emails.
Yes.
We're sick of the emails. I know you weren't running. I know you want money, but stop sending us the email. It was hilarious. I didn't know Colin was married to
Scarlett Johansson.
Scarlett Johansson. I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That's why she played Crazy Bitch.
Yeah, that was great. I thought they were going to give her an award just for being there. And all of a sudden, it's like, oh, she's married to Colin? I didn't know that.
Yep.
That was awesome.
Yep.
It makes sense. All right. Well, let's throw out some inspiration for the day.
I got a new deck. It's not a new deck to everybody, but
for Pay It Forward Day.
It's Sacred Forest with Denise Lynn.
Okay.
Okay. What element do we need to work? Jeffrey and I did our weeklies, and we do 2 months at a time. And May's going to be a little bit iffy at the beginning, but man, does June look good. We're real pleased.
So I grabbed 2 from this and 3 from another deck.
Okay.
So this came up last week, I think, too. The Andromeda knowledge to manifest your desires. Using your angels, your intuition to manifest your desires. Mm-hmm. And it helps to use earth energy.
That's right.
Get out in the grass, hug a tree, use that earth energy to help manifest. Earth energy is grounding. It can take worries and pains and everything away. When you're in a better mode, when you're a better spirit, that helps with the manifesting.
Right.
Okay. You want to go, or you want me to throw out my other 3?
Throw all yours, and I'll do mine last.
All right. I grabbed Doreen Virtue's Angel.
Oh, yeah.
Fairies deck. Unity. That's the Hierophant card, but unity. It's about being in your soul family. That's what I feel. It's about being in the right space, being in that spiritually minded community. 9 of Spring, protecting environmental conservation, preparing for challenges, and then the Ace of Spring, time to take action. So when I see this Ace of Spring, it kind of makes me feel like that eclipse that just happened. We're opening up amazing opportunities, and at this point, that energy is there, and it's good to be in that, that spiritually minded community of people, your soul family, to, embrace and feel and lift each other up.
Right.
That's it.
Okay, I got Spirit Guardian of Autumn, and this guardian is letting go. And it says, Spirit Guardian of Autumn says, relinquish control and let spirit take over. You don't need to do everything yourself. Release whatever in life doesn't serve you. Clutter clear your life. Simply open your heart. Let go. Allow spirit to help and support you. So just become, instead of trying to figure out how am I going to change, just let it happen. And yes, I wish we had some of the European system. There's problems with it too. So.
I know. It's just crazy, like with the Satan spending 150 million or whatever it was
to get nowhere.
to get nowhere.
And Nikki Haley wiping the floor with them. And she got 18% of the vote in Pennsylvania last week, and she hadn't campaigned or lifted a finger.
It's good news for the Democrats.
That's true. And those are the good news for the Democrats. And because I can tell you, the people who show up to vote in primaries are going to show up to vote.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Yeah, it's like, what did someone say? All the money, he took private jets all the time and, big SUVs like he was president or something.
Mm-hmm.
It was some ridiculous number. It's like $10,000 was spent per vote he got in Iowa or something like that.
Oh, God. I've seen him almost in local elections spend that much, and you're kind of like, get the hint? They don't want you. Oh, what's going on in your channel? I know you're driving your truck and you're working overtime, so that's taking away.
I'll take requests if someone wants me to join, but I have no plans during the week.
Okay, I'm doing 6-month readings. I start, which takes you from June to December, and they're kind of a fun way to kind of sum up. And trust me, I see so much light at the end of this year. It's unbelievable. I am working on my 9 candles. I had said last week when I was talking about it that if I could find a yellow orchid, I'd be starting to plan, because I always have something I focus on. And I walked in the first store and there was no yellow orchids, and I thought, well, that's a bummer. So Saturday, my daughter and I decided to go big. This is what we do our fun weekends. We went to visit a big new superstore, which I'd heard had a lot of low-carb keto meals pre-made and stuff, just to go look and see what they were like. We walk in, and right at the front door was a whole display of orchids, and there was one yellow orchid in it sitting right in the middle. So it's now behind me. So I'm on my way to putting together the 9 candles. And this time I'm going to be burning little rose candles. So it can be any color you want. And because it's, what are you becoming? It's going to be a very individualized look at 9 candles.
You're right, Rose. The GOP is running out of money. They don't have it. Dems are raising them like crazy. We're going to have all these fake electors get in big trouble, and it's going to be known.
And their fake electors were their big buck people. So, I mean, they shot themselves in the foot and they shot themselves in the wallet at the same time.
Julie's talking about my chicken.
Oh, your chicken.
This is my mama's.
Aw.
She collected chickens, so when she passed, I got a bunch of her chickens.
Yeah, I had a friend who used to collect chickens. It's a very Midwestern farm thing to do. That's a cool one.
More chickens.
More chickens.
Yeah. This is a, what do you call it? Coffee creamer.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Coffee creamer.
Oh, cool.
This could have a plant in it or something. Yeah. Little collector figurine made in China, of course. Yeah. My mom had so many, so my siblings took
them. Split them all up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, and I'm still doing readings if you want a reading. And I'm doing Tuesday, I'm going to do a whole show in the garden. I'm going to be Rolling Stones in the garden.
Oh, Deanne's got chickens too.
Aw.
Yeah, I wish I could move to the country and have live chickens again, but not possible.
That's one of my favorite exhibits at the State Fair of Texas. Man, there's some fascinating looking chickens. There's some weird looking chickens.
Thank you, sir.
For a city kid, and they all lay eggs, I guess. But man, there are some weird looking chickens.
Okay. Remember to show kindness today. and
Yes,
every
pay
day.
it forward. Pay it forward
Pay
today.
it forward. Blessings to all. Love. Bye.
Bye, guys.